Okay, looks like we're in now. If you can hear me, say hi, and we'll do a quick sound check. Because I'm not professional, I rely on you to check my sound for me. How's that? Good afternoon. Here we come. I see you all popping in here. Right, so this was unplanned. I tend to do this. I never tell you when I'm doing a live stream. I think we did it once. I think we scheduled a live stream, and then I had a lot of you waiting because it was scheduled, so you're aware of it. And then when I went live, it crashed because I couldn't get it working. So I was scarred for life after that, and I've never kind of recovered. So I've discovered. So so live streams have always been a thing that I know I should do more of. I often enjoy them, and you guys enjoy them too. But I always tend to do them like badly, false starts. But anyway, I see you're all popping up here now. So hello to you. Welcome to you wherever you may be in the world. It's minus 18 degrees at the moment here in Tallinn, Estonia, on the border of Russia. Yeah. A proper winter, minus 18 degrees. And of course, if there's some of you that are from places like Finland, Canada, you'll probably tell me you're a lot colder. I'm sure you are. But hi, welcome. I can see a few of you have popped on. I will just before I start, I'll just give you a chance for the stream to kind of send the notifications it needs to, so that everyone can sort of jump on. Once again, this wasn't planned. It was just spontaneous. And what I'm going to do in this live stream is I just want to cover a few things, really just to, ideally I'm just testing new software here, so which should hopefully ensure that my live streams will be better in future. Because I always start a live stream the same. I always usually say, this is unplanned, and then I say, oh, we're having technical difficulties, and then I say, oh, we should do more live streams, and then, yeah, it's this vicious loop we're in. But all good. So what we're going to run through today is just give you a bit of update of what's going to happening on the channel, some new content that's coming up, and also some live shows. We'll also talk about Mesh and a few other things. So I'll just wait for a few more of you to come on. Say hello while you're there. I'll just say hello to who's there at the moment. Xavier, Fabrizio. Ciao, amico mio. Mr. Woodgates, good afternoon to you, sir. Rentas, hello. Alison, hello. Some of you got funny names. Well, it's not your names aren't funny, it's your YouTube handles are strange. Multisaver 1979. Hello. I don't assume that's your name, but yeah. Hello from Iowa, US, which is your recoil favorite song. Oh, yes, an Alan Wilder fan. What? An Alan Wilder fan on this channel? No. Fabricio, you're saying it sounds perfect. Thank you. I think we have got the sound right here now. Yeah, Mr. Woodgate's sound check German style. You know, I spend so much time in Germany these days. I think some of that German efficiency has rubbed off onto me. So yeah. Good afternoon, and cool. Okay, so well, it's 10 past 5 here now, so that's probably about 10 past 3 in the UK and everything. So good. All right, so I'm just going to jump into this. We're not going to be on for long. That's another thing I often say, and I think we wanted a live stream that was it like over 4 hours long? But yeah, don't have the strength today. But okay, so thank you to wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining in. This is me from Tallinn, Estonia, coming to you live. And just want to run through some of the things that are coming onto the channel. Now, later on today, depending on where you are in the world, so I'd say in about, let me just work this out, in about 3 hours' time, because that's a reference point that is all relative to us. In about 3 hours' time, I'm going to be releasing this video today. Obviously, if you are a subscriber to this channel and if you're a Depeche Mode fan, and you're probably not following this channel if you're not a Depeche Mode fan, because I think a lot of my subscribers are Depeche Mode fans. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I started doing the reaction videos to the 4 songs from the Memento Mori sessions. Now, these were 4 tracks that were released at the end of 2025, and I believe they're part of the Memento Mori Depeche Mode M, because that video has been released, and I believe that these 4 songs were 4 songs that were sort of, well, were made in the studio as part of the album. Now, as you know, when artists create albums, not, it's always a good idea to be quite strict on your editing. Not every song makes it onto the album, obviously. So this was the idea of these 4 songs, and they were Survive, Life 2.0, In the End, and the video that's coming up. In the End. That is the one that is coming up today. But the ones I've reviewed already were Survive, Life 2.0. What was the other one called? Yeah, I did Survive, Life 2.0, and then the other one's called. Oh God, I can't remember. Yeah, one of you will remind me. But the one, yeah. Go on, this is going to play in my mind now. I've just done them. Early onset dementia. God. Survive, Life 2.0, Give Yourself to Me. That was the one I did last, and the one that's coming out today is In the End. Now, doing reaction videos, as I did in the style I did them, they were very honest. I had not heard the songs before, so it's quite difficult when you're sitting there recording yourself and it's all coming at you and you've got to kind of say what you're thinking. But I suppose it's not difficult, provided you're being honest, and I was. And I just said what I thought about the songs as I was hearing them. And then obviously what I will do is I will return a little bit later and I'll do a video where I actually analyze the songs on the keyboard or a piano. I'll break down the songs and we'll analyze some of the lyrics and the song, the actual song and the chord structures, like I do on the album review series, the Depeche Mode album review series. And that's good because when you listen to a song right away, it's there are a lot of songs that I don't instantly like, especially from Depeche Mode, which is funny. I'm a big fan, but most of their songs they grow as they're not sort of like they don't sort of instantly hit you. Some do, some don't, but a lot of them grow on you. And certainly from the ones I've done so far, which were Survive, Life 2.0, and the other one which I've forgotten again. Life 2.0 really, really hit me as something really, really special, and a lot of you said, well, why was that not on the album? And which, once again, I go on to say that sometimes, regardless of how good a song is, sometimes it doesn't fit within the theme or the context of an album, so who knows. But it would be sad to think that a song like Life 2.0 would just disappear. Imagine if they said, okay, it's not on the album, we're just never going to release it. And So anyway, so I like the Live 2.0. And having said that again, if I read these videos did really, really well. They got a lot of views, because I know a lot of you are interested in my opinions, and I appreciate that, because I don't profess to be some smart ass that knows it all. I just give my opinions, and I'm honored and flattered that you guys want to know what I think of them. But having said that, some of the comments that were, the comments below, some of you said things like, "Oh, I think you're wrong, Vaughn, because blah blah blah," and what I had to say to those comments was, okay, look, understand me. I've literally just heard this song. I'm literally reacting to it, and as I've gone away and listened to them again, they're starting to grow on me. So when I come, just give me a chance to come back in a couple of weeks' time when I'll do a long video. I don't know if I'll do 4 short videos with each song, or maybe a long video where I just cover all 4 songs, and we break the songs down into the chords, the structure, like I do on the Depeche Mode album review series, and we can just analyze the songs more, because after listening to the songs a little bit more, I'm more familiar with them, and some of them I'm actually liking more initially, and some of them probably not more. But yeah, the bottom line being, let me return with this video where I'm a little bit more rehearsed on the songs. Okay, so yeah, look out for that. I try to always respond to as many comments as I can. It's not impossible to reply to everyone, but I do appreciate your comments. So I'm not just saying that. I enjoy the engagement, and a lot of the engagement I get from you is what often spurs me on to. Your comments very often inspire the direction of the future content. Okay, so let's just do a little bit more housekeeping and updates. I haven't done a live stream in a long time, so let me tell you what's happened last year. I'm not going to go. This won't be boring, I promise you. Just sort of most significantly last year, we did a few mesh shows, a few festival shows and stuff. And then was September? Yeah, September last year. That's interesting, because for every song that I sang, I had to provide a royalty, a description, because this goes on to PRS, and this is to ensure that the songwriter, in this case Mr. Martin Gore, gets his rightful royalties. And as I was writing this, I just thought, my God, it's like that saying in Depeche Mode 101, when that nerd, I forget the guy. There's a scene in Depeche Mode 101 where they're counting the money at the end, and they're just tipping out the boxes. And, this is in the days, obviously, before tapping, card tappings. And they're counting all the cash. And I remember this one fan saying, God, I'd love to be their accountant. And that's exactly what went through my mind when I was... just think of all the Depeche Mode tribute acts and DJs and shows, and everyone that covers their song. And of course, there are probably some dodgy institutions that don't do this properly, but the reputable institutions that we work through, of course, all are registered with the PRS, and they will register the songs, and this all goes to the PRS. And you can imagine the hundreds of thousands of different artists who cover Depeche Mode song every year, and it all goes into the Gore, the bank account of Gore. And I would love to be his accountant. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's move on. So yeah, so I did the 3 support shows with Division. That was fun. Just acoustics renditions of Depeche Mode songs, which is kind of what I've been doing recently. And that just brings me on to the piano. Um, so yeah, we had a lot of fun, and I'm just going to check some of the comments here. I'll take some questions in a while. Oh, is the sound gone? Crap. Someone says I'm talking to myself. Are we still here? Is the sound gone? Or what? I haven't touched anything. Let me just see. I'll just wait for the comments. Seems as though I disappeared at one point. So let me know if I'm back. Sound is back. I don't know how long I was gone for. How much of that did you not hear? When you react to... What? Oh, sorry about that. I've got no idea why that happened. I haven't touched anything. And it's annoying because I don't want to sound like an arsehole now, but I buy expensive equipment, not because I'm stinking rich, but I invest. I spend the money on stuff. I don't like cheap crap. So I get really annoyed when things don't work. But then again, it's probably me because I'm not that bright. Oh, I see. I see. I know what happened now. I know what happened. And I have to say thank you to E42 at E42. Obviously not your real name, but E42 said no sound during the slideshow. And that is because when I switched the slideshow on, the audio stopped. And that's because, and forgive me, because I've set up a new setup. I've got new software and everything here now. So I know what I've done now is, so when as soon as I hit the slideshows for the photos, the audio cuts out because I haven't actually installed an audio input into that scene. I know it's boring. I apologize. I'm very unprofessional. I don't know how the hell I've managed to make a career out of this because I am pretty thick sometimes. But anyway. Okay, good. So it's all good. So I'm not going to show the photos again. I was just going to say that just came back from London, from the UK, did some support shows with Division. And then, of course, the photos you saw from Eastern Europe, that was the shows I did in Liberec, Bratislava, Prague, and God, I can't remember more than 4 names at once. Liberec, Bratislava, Prague. And Ostrava, there we go. God. God. Sorry, it's been a long week, and yeah. It's been a long week. Okay, so that's it really. Now I want to come on to Mesh quickly, so what I'll do is I'll quickly show you the photos and then just come back out. So the brand new album, which is entitled The Truth Doesn't Matter, that will be out. Oh, I'm not supposed to say when. Very soon. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but it has. Yeah. Very, very soon. Now, that's it. The single, which is this one, Exile, the first single, that has just been released, and it's been very, very well received. We're very, very blown away by the support, and I really think this is. I really believe that this album and tour are going to do very, very well. And that brings us on to the tour, which starts on the 2nd of April this year. There we go. Anyway, I'm not going to read all the shows. But yes, kicks off in Germany and then yeah, a few other European dates, and then in the UK, and a few festival shows, and with a few more shows being in the pipeline. I'm not going to say more than that. There's always demand for mesh, and there are many. There is demand for the band, but then of course there's negotiation, which gets done with the management and the with our touring people. Touring. I'm a bit shattered today. Excuse me. Touring people. Our tour manager. There we go. And they then decide whether we do the show or not. So yeah, that's all very, very exciting. So I think I'll take a couple of questions now. I'm not going to stick around too long. And while I'm here, just be honest. What do you think of the new visuals? Because I know I've got a new sort of set here, kind of thing. This is my office, and my studio is next door there. I've got a little programming room on the other side there. So just let me know what you think, because I've never sort of asked what you guys thought of this. And do you like the format of the review videos I've done recently with the reaction videos? So yeah, I like to always get the feedback, because it's pointless to just. I mean, I'm never going to do content that I don't want to do, because I'm not a. I only talk about things that I'm interested in and what I like, and my. So I'm never going to do stuff that I don't want to do, but it's always nice to get the feedback, and I always like to get the feedback because it helps me push it in a direction which you're going to enjoy more as well, and then we're all winners. I'll take some questions here now quickly, and then I'll just go through this here. Mr. Woodgate says the album's out on the 27th of March. Did you just leak that, Mr. Woodgate? Or no, I think it was announced. No, it was announced. I think it was announced last week. Sorry, I've got a lot going on in my mind, and it's funny because often there are things that and you're not supposed to say it, obviously. But I can tell you the first single, we're talking about Mesh now. The first single it's doing very, very well, and now there's another single coming out. I'm not going to say when. And then I believe there'll be a third single, and then the album will drop on the 27th of March. So, and then the tour starts. Okay, so we want to know here. Xavier, bless you. Let me just quickly read some of your comments here. Oh, sorry, I just made you disappear here. Yeah, so I guess we can call this the crash test dummy. The crash test dummy stream. That's not to insult any of you. It's just that as we're talking here, if I seem a little bit distracted, it's because I'm just busy checking on certain things, and because I do want to make live streaming I've said this before, but I'm very serious about. You can see the content. I've been putting out a lot of videos lately, so I'm trying to, do things to up my game. So live streaming is something I really want to do a lot more of. So if you can just bear with me while if I seem a bit distracted, I'm just trying to do things well. Okay, this won't take long. Okay, I'm trying to just put something into translate here. Xavier, you're writing in Spanish. So I'm trying to just. Oh, there we go. Because I'm trying to translate it so I can answer your question. I'm trying to be polite here. There we go. I think I got it right. Google Translate now. So there we go. It's probably getting all the tenses wrong. Your question is, it is me, Vaughn, or did you just ignore the question? Would it bother you to be courteous and answer some fans' question? Otherwise, why do a live stream? Oh, that sounds a bit arsey, mate. That sounds a little bit arsey. But I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I'm a nice guy, and it could also be the fact that the translate is probably getting the tenses wrong. So, yeah, it did come across as a bit arsey, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. How's that? So, if you can put your questions in English, please, I'd be grateful. Thank you. Right. Secret Symphony says, I think it is difficult to judge a song on just one listen. The best way to do it is to say whether you like the vibe or not. Secret Symphony, absolutely right. I think when you're listening to a song right away, it is very difficult. It's very easy when you're reviewing something to give your opinion. But if you're sort of just listening to something, in a reaction right away, it is difficult. But that's exactly what I wanted, because there's a lot of reaction videos online where people say stuff, or where people say they're going to react to something, and a lot of it just looks fake. And sometimes people's reactions are like, "Oh my god!" Sometimes it's so over the top, and I just, probably because I'm old and boring, I just don't get that excited about things anymore. But you're right; it does take a while for you to actually, just sort of. First reaction, and then after a few times it kind of sits in. So as I said, this is why. It's even when Memento Mori came out the first time, I did a review after I listened to it like once, just to give you like my absolute initial reaction. And I then returned with a in-depth review, sort of like I think a few weeks later, and that was. So it's good. It's a good way to do it, I feel. Right, let's take another few questions here. M. Stimson, hello, says, I can't wait to hear the last song in the end. Yeah, that'll be out on my YouTube channel in about 2.5 hours time, I should think, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm sort of getting my head around this new software now. I think it's going to work. I think it's fair to say we'll probably be able to do live streams quite successfully now. I believe we may have all the bugs out. Here's a question from, okay, your name's ChatGTP apparently, or GTP Chat. Will you be in Poland this year? Yes, I will be in Poland on the 21st of February in Łódź, doing my piano interpretations of Depeche Mode. Right. Yes, and E42, you're absolutely right. You're right. In your diagnosis as to why my sound disappeared when I was doing the photos, because there was no audio input selected. You've got my back. I appreciate that. Hello, Igor. How are you doing? Okay. Liberace? No, Liberec. Liberec. I believe it's called Liberec. Okay. Comment here from Rick Blasting. The Truth Doesn't Matter, a great title fitting the times we live in now. Yes. I don't sometimes want to be on this planet, but I'm afraid I'm stuck here, so. Here's a question. Is there a thing you miss when playing the keyboard? Something you wish a keyboard was able to do? Well, keyboards are not as cool as guitars, so that's why I sometimes pick up the guitar and sometimes have a go on that sometimes. I can strum, I can bash out some poses, but I'm not a guitarist. Keyboards are not cool, by the way. And I'm a keyboardist, so I'll tell you that. They're not cool. That is why when you're a keyboard player, don't ever get up onto the front of the stage and grab a fucking guitar. It's just like, just don't do it. It's just, your job as a keyboard player is to be in the back doing your thing. I'm sorry, you're just not cool as a keyboard player. Know your place. God, I'm going to get hell for that. But yeah, if you've got a few more questions and comments, I can take them, and then I'll probably just let you go because, as I said, this was not meant to be a long live stream. I just wanted to really test my new setup here, and then I will just leave everything, not touch anything, so that we know it works well next time. Mr. Woodgate says keyboards are cool. I know. I'm just taking the piss. Or am I? Keyboards are not cool. I beg to differ. Oh, let's start a fight here. Ever consider playing a guitar live? No fucking way. No fucking way. It was quite funny though, because whenever I see a guitar, I'm kind of like, it was acceptable in the 80s. It was acceptable at the time. Was that Calvin Harris, that song? I love that. It was acceptable in the 80s. Yeah, it was acceptable in the 80s, but it was quite funny because one of my mates sent me he like DMs me like photos of people playing guitars, and he's like, what about this one? What about this? And I'm just like, no. And the other day he sent me a photo of what's her name? She's the keyboard player from, what's that band? You Can Dance If You Want To, You Can Leave Your Friends Behind. Safety Dance, what are they called? Men Without Hats. And they have a keyboard player. I think she's called Sarah. I think she's the daughter of one of them. And my mate sent me a photo of her playing the guitar, and I went, okay, I suppose there's always the exception to the rule, but yeah, generally just as an instrument, it's just yeah, that's kind of like my thing. I just don't get the whole guitar thing. Here's a good question. How is the progress of the rehearsals of the new Mesh shows? That's interesting. You should say that. We're going to be doing some rehearsals in March. I'm going to be flying back to the UK, and we're going to be doing some rehearsals. And I mean, this might be quite funny for some of you to hear this, but I've never rehearsed with them live in person. And it's only just because of the way things worked out. When I was asked to join the band, when was it, in 2023, I had I think I had like 3 weeks to learn like a whole set of songs. So and I suppose because it's like modern, you have the backing track and you learn your parts, you learn your backing vocals, and you learn your lines, and then you then and of course, it's not like like a live band where everything's done live, like a rock band, where there's with this type of music, the basis, it's click track driven, it's electronic, so there is the bass and a lot of the other elements are on the backing track, and you have to. So there's no variation in tempo, so to speak. So for that reason, I think a lot of bands like that, it's not that important to rehearse together. However, with a new album coming out now, rehearsals are preferred. So we are going to be doing some rehearsals in March, just before we go on tour. And then I think when we get to Germany, I think we fly in a couple of days early, and I think we do a rehearsal the day before as well. So it's great. It's going to be good. Some new stage sets, some new rigs and everything. So it's probably advisable that we did do an in-person rehearsal. There we go. I hope I haven't over-explained that answer. Yeah. There, Mr. Woodgate is saying coming soon, Vaughn, on the guitar. There are always the backstage jokes about me on a guitar and everything like that, because just don't do it. Guitars, safety clap, yeah. I did a video on my YouTube channel many years ago. I had this series called the Fletch Files, and it was all about Fletch. Hello, I'm Fletch. You can find them on my YouTube channel. Very, very childish, very stupid. And I had a video up there called Safety Clap, and it was all about Fletch going, you can dance if you want to, or safety clap. Very childish, but hey man, life's fucking dire, and the world's going to hell, and everything's too serious, so it's good to be a bit of a playful twat every now and then, isn't it? GTP chat says, where and when could we buy tickets for your Depeche Mode interpretations? Oh, thank you very much. The next show's in Poland. Just if you follow my Facebook page and if you follow my YouTube channel, I'll keep putting the information. It's difficult when things like this, because I have this conversation with my Mesh brothers as well. It's kind of like, you want to promote yourself, but you don't want to overdo it. And yeah, even sometimes when I'm doing a show or something, or my management they'll post stuff as well, and I'll post, and then I'll think, okay, maybe we've overposted, and then someone will message me the next day and say, oh, where can I buy tickets? So it's a difficult one, because you never want to be, you never want to overdo things. I'm just conscious of that. I just don't want to be a dick. There are too many dicks in the world, and I don't want to be one of those dicks. I know some of you think I'm a dick anyway, but anyway, so fuck you. You probably like guitars. Elias says, the Fletch Files is what actually introduced me to your channel, oddly enough. Yeah, I enjoyed those Fletch Files videos. Very, very childish, very, very stupid. One of them popped up the other day, and I watched it, and I thought, oh, what was I smoking? Oh, yes. Igor is saying Depeche Mode album review series. Yes, and on the Depeche Mode album review series, how far did we get with that? I think we got up to when we started with Speak and Spell, and then we obviously, I think we're currently on Songs of Faith and Devotion. I think we got up to Condemnation, Mercy in You. I think we did Mercy in You. Yeah, I think we're up to there. And I think Lloyd, shout out to Lloyd, who's one of my Facebook admins. He's been busting my balls saying, Vaughn, we need to finish this Depeche Mode album review series. Like, seriously. It's been going on for like 5 years. I went, yes, Lloyd, we'll get there. So, yes. Rick, hi. Rick says, Vaughn, have you ever been to the States? Ever considered doing the DM Depeche Mode shows in the States before the US collapses. And this is one of the reasons I'm a little bit grumpy today, guys. And I've just had a chat to a few friends of mine online. I'm not going to go into more details than that, but they're American, and they're in a very, very bad place mentally now, just with what's happening in the country. And yeah, it's sorry, I don't want to make excuses for my grumpiness. I'm generally just quite a grumpy person, but yeah, that's so to answer your question, Rick. I've never been to America. I would love to go to America. I've got a lot of friends in America. I'm very pissed off and upset with what's happening in America at the moment in a big way. Problem is, if things go wrong in America, America's such an important country because it just affects everything. And I'm going to get off this soapbox now. But yeah, the way things are going there, it scares me so much. Not just for me, but for my friends and just for the world in general. But on a lighter note, to answer your question, I've never been to America. I've got a lot of friends there. I would love to go to America, and there has been so much demand. I get so many sincere messages like this asking me to come to America to do this, and I will. I'll put it to you this way: I will. That is definitely on my bucket list of things to do. I just need to get into, and I know enough people in America who can help me make this happen. So it just means getting on with a good promoter, and you know, if I'm going to go all that way, we'd probably have to make it shows, and I want to hang out. I want to get there, have 3 days for the jet lag to go, and then I just want to go full on. You know, I would really love to. I would really love to come to America. Sorry if that got a bit dark, but yeah, we all live in this world together. Hope that answers your question, Rick, and I hope that wasn't too. I hope that wasn't too cynical. I think at heart, I'm an idealist at heart, and I struggle. I honestly struggle living in this planet sometimes. I really do. I really do. Igor, Judas. Oh, yes. Thank you. Igor, I know you. You're one of my inner circle members in YouTube, so I know you watch all the videos. So you, I should just ask you, how far am I on the album review series? And you've gone, I'm up to Judas. Yes. Okay, so I'm up to Judas now. I think the next one I've got to do is In Your Room. So yeah, we'll finish the album review series, guys. I promise you. And then because I've got some. Because I really want to interview Mr. Tim Simeon as well when we get to the Ultra part, because that'll be fun. Because I want to go to Prague. I believe Mr. Simeon, Tim Simeon, was the producer of Ultra, in my opinion. And he now is not in the industry anymore. He now lives in Prague, and I believe he has some restaurants there. So. Probably go. I'd love to chat to him if he's willing to. So, right, another question. E42 says, always interesting to have different opinion on my favorite albums. Of course, that's great. No, we're all different. No, none of us see the world, the same way, and that's what's wonderful about it. Igor says, sound is cutting a bit. Are you talking about my microwave? Or my microwave? Are you talking about my microphone, or are you talking about the new Depeche Mode album? What's cutting? Checkpoint Online Charlie. That's a long, it's a long name. You're saying New York City, yeah. Hey, New York. New York City via communist Romania as a child. So you're from Romania, but you're living in New York City. Rick, hi. Obviously responding to my previous comment, Rick. Thanks. Cheers, Rick. Yeah, no, I'll come to America. We'll shake hands. We'll have a beer, definitely. I can see E42 says in your room. Chris Beeman says I would come and see you in the USA in a heartbeat. Oh, thank you. I'd love to. I would honestly love to go. I would honestly love to go, and I will go. Okay, guys. Well, so I'm just going to scroll down and see if I've. Sorry if I haven't answered all your questions. I tried to be polite and get them all here. Where was Xavier earlier on? He was having a go at me for not being polite and not answering questions, and now he's just fucked off. And after I said he should ask his question. Come on, mate, ask your question. Checkpoint Charlie says, at this point for me, a long time since the Depeche Mode albums I relate to the most are 82 and 83. So you actually prefer the earlier albums. Hello from Düsseldorf in Germany. Das ist gut, ja. Hello. Welcome. Good to see you. I spend a lot of time in Germany. That's not true, actually. I just fly to Germany. I fly into one city, get off at the airport, go to the hotel, go from the hotel, do the show, go back to the hotel, get to the airport, fly back. I've been to Germany a lot, but I haven't seen much because that's the nature of what we do. But I'm looking with this tour now. It's going to be nice because we're going to have more time on the road there, and it's going to be in a tour bus this time. We're doing tour bus. I'm a little bit. I don't know what the feeling is. I'm not nervous about it. I've never toured on a tour bus before, but I'm going to do some behind the scenes filming when I do the shows. Obviously not on the tour bus because what's that saying? What happens on the tour bus stays on the tour bus. Apparently that's the rules about touring. Unwritten rule. Federico says hi there from Buenos Aires. Amigo, how you doing? Nice to have you here. Michelle says, loving your recent Depeche Mode reaction videos, Live 2.0. Thank you, Michelle. I never did many reaction videos, but I think I might start doing more now because they seem to be quite well received and they're quite easy to do. You know, some of the earlier videos I did, like those album review videos, they can be very long and tedious to record and put together. But reaction videos are quite good for just like a quick, just if I want to get something out, they're usually quite easy to film, and I enjoy doing them. So I'm glad you enjoyed it because there are certain videos that I've done before that I'd spend a lot of time on, and then based on the viewership, I could just see this is not what you guys want, so I just stopped doing them. But yeah, I'm happy to do more of what works. That's good. Here's a question from I Am Actually Grass. I like that. And your question is, hey Vaughn, do you think you would ever do a show in Ireland? Just curious. Yes, one of the piano shows. I think we've... Oh, I've got to think first because... Yeah, we haven't... Sorry, we haven't announced it. There is one... I've always got to think if it's a conversation I've had with the management or someone, and I'll think, oh, no, we haven't announced it yet, but there is a show, I think, in Dublin planned this year. So I hope that helps. I know I'd love to go. I've never been to Ireland. Ireland. I hope that answers your question, and I'd love to go. Tommy says hi to everyone. Hello, Tommy. Oh, there's a bit of a new wave of people coming in here now. Just as I was wanting to sign off, but let me just answer some of your questions because I don't want to be seen as a rude bastard. There we go. What was this question here? Germany is too much. Every village has its own history I guess like England. I see what you mean. It's a big place. Yeah, can't possibly see everything. Colorful Record says, "Will you come to Budapest in 2026?" Now, here's the thing with Budapest. I know a lot of people in Hungary. I've got a lot of friends from the channel and fans of my music and stuff. And I I know a lot of people personally from Hungary, but we're not able to actually get in touch with a promoter that can actually put on a piano show for me, which I find is weird because I know there's a huge Depeche Mode following there. Yeah, we've tried, and it's not that there's not interest. There's interest from fans, but we just can't. I just can't seem to get hold of a promoter who wants to, who understands the market. Because remember, these Depeche Mode, these and over the top. It's not meant to be like it's not like the Mesh shows or things like that. They're like big production and stuff. These are literally just meant to be. The whole vibe with the piano shows is I really just wanted the vibe of you show up. And whatever piano is there, you play it, and you're playing it to and you. I envisioned like rooms of like 30, 40, 50 people, small little things like that. And they've been averaging now about 80, some 80. The most was about 140 people. So yeah, which is good because the piano shows, they're not meant to be these big productions. So coming back to your question about Hungary, I was a bit perplexed. And I suppose I haven't tried. I suppose if I really focus on it and try it, I probably will pull it off. But I just thought, because of all the sort of requests I get from Hungary, the sort of channels that I know that I've approached, everyone's kind of been like, "Oh yeah, well we'd love to, but we don't really know how to approach it." So maybe you know someone. But yes, I would love to come to Hungary. I've been there. I went there, I think 4 years ago to shoot one of my music videos. And I loved it very much. Okay, let me just go. Goes, yeah. Oh, yeah. Die Astavanderduku. I love that name. Hello. Are you still in love with Life 2.0? Because I am very much in love with Life 2.0. As you can see. You could see my reaction when I edited the video back, when I recorded that Life 2.0, and then I edited myself back. I went, oh my God, I look really happy. And I'm quite happy just talking about that song. I really like that. And I think it is quite nice. I just don't really have the bandwidth for this like ultra moody, pissed off, dark music anymore. Because that's wherever you see it in the world, you just see all this darkness. This is me personally at the moment. I'm struggling with the world at the moment. Don't take this. I'm not going to top myself. I'm just, as I say, I just struggle with the world. I'm an empath, so I kind of struggle with the world sometimes. I also think yesterday or the last week, I really just did like I think I spent too much time online, social media, and I definitely watched far too much news. And yeah, so anyway, I don't want to get all cynical. This channel is a place of upliftment. It's meant to uplift you. It's meant to uplift me, and it is a place of upliftment. But at the same time, we cannot deny the obvious horrors which are taking place in the world. I will get off my soapbox now. Okay, that's a good question. What do you think about Martin needing to have a co-writer for the last album? I don't have a problem with that. And what I've said this many, many times. If you're Depeche Mode, if you're Martin Gore, if you're Dave, if you're Alan, you've got nothing to prove anymore. Few artists ever get to the levels of Violator, Songs of Faith and Devotion, Music for the Masses. That period of Depeche Mode, I'd say from Black Celebration to Songs of Faith and Devotion, that period, few artists ever get there. Ever get there. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a little bit more lenient with them now because I'm kind of like, okay, the guys are getting older. They've got nothing to prove, really. There are some people who are on the other side that say, oh, they should just stop now because they're not as good as they used to be. And I'm not saying that. I whereas I can't agree with that sentiment, but I do feel that we change as we get older and we move forward and we try different things. And yes, maybe our legacy was bigger before than it is now. But for me personally, maybe it's from a nostalgia point of view. I like the fact that we still have the band, honestly. And I really enjoyed the last album. I enjoyed it more than the last three. I'm glad they're still making music, and that's my personal opinion. But yeah, why am I saying all this? What was the question? Sorry, I'm terrible at going on tangents, aren't I? Oh, too many questions coming up now. I'll just talk a bit faster now so I can answer all your questions. Oh, so to answer your question, so I don't really have a problem with him using a co-writer, really. Because once again, as long as the end result is good, and Martin Gore has nothing to prove, as far as I'm concerned. Michelle says, Vaughn, how long will you be doing live streams? All day, every day, starting tomorrow. No, I don't know. I like the idea of doing a live stream because the live streams always go down so well. It's different with recorded content. You have the benefit of being able to edit things and everything, and with live streaming you kind of just it's a moment, and then sometimes you go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or blah blah blah. Anyway, look, man, my channel and my vibe is it's all about authenticity. It's about being real, so how often should we I'll ask you, Michelle, what do you think is a good frequency? Once, twice a week? I would think once a week would be good. Maybe once every Saturday or Sunday, that would be good. Here's a question from Colorful Records. Do you know on the singles 81 to 85 why the meaning of love isn't on it? The meaning of love. Oh, what? What do you know? The meaning of love. Is that not on the singles 81 to 85? Was it a single? Meaning of love? It was a single. Oh, and it's not on that album, is it? 81 to 85. I don't know. It's a good question, actually. Actually, I was watching a Black Celebration show of Depeche Mode. Now it's on YouTube. Black Celebration live. Was it 1986? It was in London, I think it was. Was it Hammersmith? I can't remember, but it was London. I remember them playing It's Called a Heart live. I remember listening to that and thinking, that is a song that gets so much, I won't say hate, but it seems like Martin has a certain disdain for that song, It's Called a Heart. And it's actually very, very good, I think. I was listening, because I haven't listened to it in years. I also always thought, yeah, I was indifferent to it. I always thought, yeah, it's a... Dun, 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 dun. Just a lot of percussive things, that the way they used to combine the percussive elements. A lot of the melodies were melodic, but they were very percussive as well, and there was a lot of that happening sort of in the Wilder period. Yeah, just going on a bit of a tangent, yeah, but It's Called a Heart. Very good song, actually. I think it doesn't deserve the sort of ridicule it gets from... I think Martin doesn't like it very much. Martin, I would prefer you to play It's Called a Heart or People Are People, as opposed to do 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 do. Anyway, it's a view. Tommy says, about the later DM albums, except for Memento Mori, which got a well-deserved praise on launch, I have a huge soft spot for Sounds of the Universe. Nah, Tommy, I don't agree with you, but I'm glad you do. I just Sounds of the Universe was that was kind of like the beginning of it going wrong for me. It was kind of like I'd listen to it and go, and once again, there's nothing bad. There's nothing. It's not bad. None of this is bad. It's just a bit like, okay. Then I listened to it, and then the next one came out after that. Which came after that? Was it Delta Machine? And I was like, oh. And then Spirit came out, and I went, okay, I'm almost done now. And then they said Memento Mori's coming out, and I was like, oh, are you sure? and the Memento Mori came out when the first time I heard the first single from Memento Mori, which was that Ghosts Again. Really liked that. I went, oh God, here's something sincere and really just like eyes wide open and not trying too hard. And then we got the Memento Mori album, and whew, I believe we were saved. Am I still online? Sorry, I'm a bit paranoid now with all these. You see the dashboard? Yeah, it's all flicking and stuff. I'm always paranoid that I'm talking and I'm talking to myself like you've all gone. Right, let's have a go here. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get to your questions here. Tommy says, okay. Oh, yeah. Sounds the universe. So I've just answered you, Tommy. But glad you like it. Look, if you like something, that's great. I'm just being honest with you. I'm never going to tell you shouldn't like it because I don't like it. I mean, that's not what I'm ever saying. It's quite funny I have to say that because I'm old enough to remember a time where we could just all just like disagree with each other. But it seems as like you've got to, these days you've got to almost, not on my channel, not here, because I don't know, this is a wanker-free zone. We don't allow wankers here. But every now and then a wanker will sort of come through the net and say things, and I just like, who the fuck are you? And just block them. And I never block people for disagreeing with me. I never do. But but I do block people for disrespect, or if people are rude or get aggressive and stuff, then I just block them. But it is funny how, there's a strange thing happening in the world, not here, but in the world, where if you don't agree with someone, it's like a form of an aggression of aggression. Yeah. I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm even saying this. I think I'm buying into the outside world too much. Right. Here's a question. Yeah. Oh, I see. Christian Eigner. It says, yeah. What do you think of the 101 Voices project by Christian Eigner? I find it remarkable, actually. I'll be honest with you. I haven't listened to it. I did see a track on YouTube with him playing something like that, and I thought it was very, very good. And once again, this is something I've put my head above the parapet. I think when I did that viral video back in 2017 when Spirits of the Forest came out, and I think even as angry as I was with it back then, I've always said I've never ever personally insulted Christian. I've just always said, I think if anything, I always said he's probably too good a drummer to be. You don't need to be he's an incredible drummer. You don't need to be that good of a drummer to play in Depeche Mode. You can just be a solid drummer, as Alan Wilder was when he played when Alan Wilder played drums. When was it? 93, 94 for the Sofat. He'd only been playing for a couple of years, so he wasn't what you would call a drummer, but he was very, very good, and it just proved that you didn't need to be a flamboyant drummer. You just need to be solid. And my whole criticism, as always with Christian, has never been him personally. And I always have to say that it's never anything against him personally. It's just that I just feel that there's just too many fill-ins and like turning Enjoy the Silence into a drum. So Enjoy the Silence is not a rock out track. And then I just don't like the way drum solos are incorporated into certain things. Now, it's better than it used to be, I think. Once again, these are my opinions, and I get help. Then I just say, fuck off. We're not 5-year-olds, just, you asked me my opinion, I'm going to give you my fucking opinion. If you don't want to hear my opinion, don't ask me. But if you do ask me, I will give you my opinion. I won't lie. I won't sugarcoat it. I'll be honest, but I will be respectful. And at the same time, I will say it's my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just being honest. So, yeah. Nothing against him personally. I just think, and it's better than it used to be, because I feel that at some points it used to be over the top. And this might piss some of you off as well, but I blame Dave Gahan for it as well sometimes, because I think I think his heart's more into blues and rock these days. So I think he kind of spurs it on. Come on, come on, come on. And at the same time, as a musician, I understand where you're on stage, you want to give a lot. So it is difficult because once again, this band is Depeche Mode is such a weird band in the sense that it never actually fitted into a mold. And then with the current lineup, to me, it's just too sort of conventional. It's just gone too much to everything that made it sort of unique is kind of not there anymore in the live sense, because it's too much, almost like a conventional band in many ways. But anyway, all my comments are online for you to see, and I double down on everything I say. I sometimes will I don't watch my older videos, but sometimes people will comment on something I said like 5 years ago, and I'll be like, did I say that? And they'll be like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then I'll watch it and go, yeah, I said that 5 years ago. I disagree with, I don't think that anymore. And I think it's quite fair to say we get older, we learn more. I've said some things on my channel before where I've gone, which I believed were honest. I always try to put, when I say something, I'll always go, whether I'm right or not, I will always say, I sincerely believe that I believe this at the time, whether I'm right or wrong. I believe that this is the right thing to say at the time. And then, of course, 5 years later, you can look back at something and go, yeah, I don't agree with that anymore. But that's being human, and that's growing up. And I'm getting a bit philosophical today. I apologize. But you guys are still here, so you must be enjoying this. Thomas says, I love the later albums, although a fan since 1990 at the age of 10. But songs like Going Backwards, Broken, Before We Drown are masterpieces. Let me unpack that. Going Backwards, Broken, Before We Drown are masterpieces. Okay. Once again, it's opinion. I'm not going to say to you they're not masterpieces. I don't think they are, but that's just my opinion. But I appreciate you telling me that you like them. Here's a good one here. So from Frederico says, hi Vaughn, when an unsound it says an unsounds method review probably is the best album from the last 30 years. Unsound Methods, yes, that's of course Recoil. When did that come out? Was that 96? I think it was 94 or 96. Yeah, Unsound Methods was brilliant. Is we're talking about the Recoil album now, Alan Wilder Recoil. I think that's the one that starts with the song, is it Incubus, which uses the sample from Apocalypse Now. Martin Sheen, every time I'm in the jungle. I always loved it when I heard that track for the first time. That was one of the very first sort of Recoil songs I kind of really listened to for the first time, like properly. And I thought, God, this sounds like Depeche Mode without the song. Yes, it's like strange when you listen to that period of Recoil. It's kind of like it's like the sound of Depeche Mode, but without the songs. It's weird, but yeah, some masterfully brilliant stuff from that period, from Recoil really. Tommy says, for me, Delta Machine had its moments, but Spirit felt kind of uninspired. Now, Tommy, I've always said when it came to Spirit to me was the first time, I'll put it to you this way. I wasn't big on like Sounds of the Universe and Delta Machine, but they still felt inspired because it's like I still feel okay. Once again, they're not bad albums. I was a bit disappointed with them. But when Spirit came out, it was the first time that I thought to myself, this is just like a cash-in album. There is no sincerity here whatsoever. It's as if though Martin woke up in his mansion one morning and he said, what can I write about today? I'm tired of doom and gloom. Let's talk about the world going to hell. And so, okay, that's fine. It was an angle, and what Spirit felt to me like, it felt like an afterthought, because it's almost as if though the band had gotten together and they've gone, hey man, because Spirit was, correct me if I'm wrong, Spirit was that real sort of, that was like the time they decided they're going to do like a stadium we're going to do like stadiums. We're going to book out stadiums throughout the world, and they did. And the shows were big, and the attendance was huge, and they did well. But I think with Spirit, it just felt to me like they'd had the meeting, and they decided they wanted to do stadiums, and then they went, hang on, we need an album. Mart, write an album. That's what it felt like to me. It felt like they wanted to go on tour. They wanted to fill stadiums and show people they could do it, and they can, and they're good, and they should. But it just felt like, oh, we need an album now. And I'm personally at the point with them now is just like, yeah, you don't need to release more music. You've got great stuff, and I would still come and see you. But, you know, they're current, and they want to do their thing, and I'm not telling them what to do. I'm just giving you my 2 cents worth, which you've all tuned in for. So, yes, I think Spirit was uninspired. You're right. I agree with you, Tommy. Michelle, hello. Michelle, my belle. God, I'm being cheesy now. I have rewatched your Life 2.0 reaction many times, and it brings me joy to watch. Oh, thank you. Keep stimulating that algorithm. Thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate that. I do like to bring joy. Sometimes I'm a bit moody and miserable, but then again, if you're a Depeche Mode fan, you are quite a moody, miserable person to a point. But yeah, try to bring some happiness. Colorful Records. One of my friends went to the 101 sound. He said he liked it this year. Are you talking about the Christian Eigner shows? Yeah. It was quite funny because, you know, it's just funny how life pans out. I spoke about this, and I don't know how many of you saw this in one of my videos. I was talking about, it was funny, back in 2017 when I got angry. I think I called the drummer, I called him an epileptic octopus. Terrible. I meant it at the time, but it was that was funny the way that came out. There was a bit of pushback because I think some people had a go at me because they said they have children who are epileptic and I'm insensitive, and I'm like, oh, just fuck off, you know. It's just like, oh. And I was thinking, sorry, I'm going off topic here now. How do comedians do it these days? How do you go out there and try and make people laugh if people have got such butt hurt? But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, after calling Christian an epileptic octopus, little did I know that several years later, meaning this year? No, last year. Where are we now? Last year. Late last year. I did the Eastern European shows, and the booking agent that handled my shows was the same booking agent that handled Christian shows. And so, in fact, we were like, one of my friends, a couple of weeks before my show, he was out in Hard Rock Cafe somewhere. I don't know, not hard. There's a rock cafe in Prague somewhere, and there was posters of my shows next to posters of Christian Eigner shows. I just looked at it and I just thought, this is awkward, isn't it? So surreal. I'll probably bump into him one day, and he might punch me, or he probably won't even know who I am. But I always say, play the game, not the man. We had this game. This was a saying when we used to play sport in school. If you're playing rugby, play the ball, don't play the man. If you're going to tackle a man, don't try and hurt him. Just play the ball. Play the game, not the man. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, another way of saying it is, hate the game, not the player. And all I'm trying to say with that is, be critical, respectfully critical in what you don't like about something, but don't hate the person. That's very important, and this is something I always have to emphasize. Elias says, I actually like Sounds of the Universe as well. One of their most underrated albums. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and listen to that album a little bit. You know, because it's quite funny. I listened to... what was the... Can you feel a little love? What was that album called? Exciter. I actually listened to that probably about, I don't know, several months ago. I thought, this is actually a very good album. I really enjoyed it. But But that was also one of the albums when it came out. I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this. But sometimes things just need time. And it's interesting as we as human beings change, sometimes we can listen to something that we liked and we don't like it as much, or we can listen to something that we never saw, great, and we like it. When you think you've tried every road, every avenue, take one more look at what you found old, and in it you'll find something new. Yeah. Here's one. Vaughn, listen to the band Sparks. Yeah. To put a smile on your face. They've done many fantastic albums. Oh, yeah. I love Sparks. Yeah. I love... now, there's a band that is successful but underrated, I think. I mean, Sparks are one of those bands that a lot of people know who Sparks are, but there are a lot of people you say Sparks and they'll be like, who? I feel that everyone should know who Sparks are because, they're just so good. Underrated, I feel. Okay, E42 says, the meaning of love is actually on the 81 to 85 singles. I just checked. Yeah, I should think it would be. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. But, yeah. Rick says, I always thought it would be cool to do like an MTV Unplugged kind of thing. Martin on acoustic guitar, Peter on piano, and Dave on vocals, candles, etc. Playing the hits and some deep cuts. No, that would be stepping on my turf. No, absolutely. And no, it would be good. And who knows? They may do it. I'd be saying to people, come and see my Interpretations piano show. They'll be like, no, Vaughn, we're going to go see the real Depeche Mode. Fuck you, Vaughn. I'll be like, oh, I'd be very offended. However, as I always have to say, when I do my Depeche Mode piano interpretation show, but I was talking to a friend about this the other day. Most people get it. They'll go, okay, he's singing Depeche Mode songs on a piano. That's stupid, or that's brave, because I don't have any... When you're playing a piano, you don't have any backing tracks, or there's nothing to lean on. You're naked. You're just the mic. It's just your voice, the microphone, your fingers, the pedal. It's just that. It's a very naked. Some people think it's a very brave thing to do. Maybe I'm just stupid. And but the thing is, I think most people get it. But there are some people when they see it, they'll see videos online and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't sound anything like Martin. Or it doesn't sound anything like Dave. And I'm like, that's the fucking idea, wise guy. That's the pennies dropped. That's the idea. I do not want to go up there and dress up like Martin and pretend to be Martin, because that for me, that's embarrassing. I wouldn't want to do that. Where are we going with this? Okay. Next question. You guys are enjoying this, aren't you? Because you're obviously enjoying it because you keep asking questions, and I want to go now, but I'm going to answer all the questions before I go, so that Xavier doesn't call me disrespectful. It's okay, Xavier. I don't dislike you. I think Google Translate may have mixed the tenses up. I'm not cross with you, Xavier. I'm not cross with you. Ask your question, but he's disappeared now. Right. Rick says Exciter took years to grow on me. It's a grower. Yeah. Playtech. How are we doing? It's been a while. Is it Playtech? Yes. I never liked Delta Machine as I found the pads presets very uncomfortable to listen to. Yeah, I can vibe with that. There's just something quite sort of like brittle about it. Playtech says I think yours would be better than Depeche Mode. You're talking about my piano shows. Send me your PayPal address. I'll send you that tenner. Thank you. Thank you. Cole Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, how are we doing, sir? You say, if you want to hear something interesting, check out Mediocrity, one of the world's greatest bands that sadly few people ever know about. What's it called? Sorry, not Mediocrity. Micro Disney. Micro Disney. Yeah, it's the name's quite weird, isn't it? It's quite. Sometimes a name can affect your success. But I've made note of that, Carl. I'm going to check it out. Thomas says, I heard Dave saying about doing an unplugged. And then he says, no, we're not because we're an electronic band. Yeah, you say that. It's quite funny. There's this photo I saw of Depeche Mode from their recent show, well, or from the Memento Mori tour. And it was quite funny just looking at the photo. I think the photo, it was the photo taken from the song do 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 do, the pain that I'm used to, and there was Gordino on the bass, Martin on his guitar, Dave behind the microphone, Christian on the drums, and just looking at that photo, and I'm going, that's just like a traditional lineup. This is the band. They've turned into the band that they reacted against when they started out. 'Cause remember when they started out, they were like, no drums, no drums, no guitars. We're electronic, and now full circle. But anyway. But then again, hey man, getting a bit philosophical here. That was like 40 years ago when they started more. We change as human beings, and we should be allowed to if we want to. Just don't expect me to like it. I'm such a bitch. All right, let's have a go here. E42 says, I think the right people singing Depeche Mode on the piano is like campfire singing. Yeah. Like the emotions. I get what you're trying to say. It's and that's exactly what I try to do with my shows. I'm not trying to be clever. I'm not trying to be... It's almost just like telling a story. It's like you sitting there and you're sharing it with a few... It's meant to be very intimate and emotional, and they usually are. There's no lights or anything. It's just very, very acoustic. Here's a question here. Forced to Mode did an unplugged version of the DM songs, and it was great. Now, I have to make a shout out to Forced to Mode. They are, I won't say mates of mine, but I know them, and I keep in touch. And I think I'm not a fan of the whole tribute scene, just personally. For me personally, I don't want to go up there and pretend to be someone and try and look like them and try and sound like them. For me personally, that would be the death of me. It's just not what I want to do. However, if that is your thing, then I would say that Forced to Mode are the world leaders in that, because fuck me, they are just brilliant at what they do. Absolutely the best in the scene. Elias says, Depeche Mode albums took some time to grow on me. Ultra used to be my least favorite DM album at one point, and now it's one of my favorites. I rest my case. As we get older, our perceptions and things change. But yeah, Depeche Mode's music is very timeless. The stuff can grow on you after years. This will actually make you laugh, actually. When I was listening to Sounds of the Universe the first time, and the song Peace came on, I said, Peace will come to me. It's got, because Martin does that. When I heard that, that made my neck hairs go up. I went, wow, this is brilliant. Peace will come to me. It's kind of like got like a religious kind of thing to it. It's got like a hymn. But then it gets to that, I'm leaving bitterness behind us. And then okay, I'm not so mad about that part, but I did like the peace will come to me. I like that part. And then this was right in the beginning, and then I remember people coming out going, oh, they said Peace was the worst song on the album. Some people called it Piece of Shit and Peace. And I just thought, that's where I'm a bit weird. I kind of like that one. Anyway, still not one of my favorite albums, but Peace to me is not as bad as what a lot of fans said it was. I like this one. What are you saying? Checkpoint Checkpoint 1 says, Exciter is perhaps the most ironic album title in history. Oh, I love having you on this channel. Says here, have you ever heard of Bonsai Bonsai, the Hungarian band? No, I haven't. Maybe I've heard the songs, but didn't know who it was. E42 says Dave and Martin doing Condemnation in the Memento Mori film is almost unplugged. Martin has really ramped up his guitar chops. Yeah, I mean Martin's always been a very good guitar player, and you know, and I've always liked the way he played, because he's not into like the solos and stuff like that. He's very like he's got very bluesy kind of he's got that kind of rocky bluesy kind of thing. Okay, I don't want to, yeah, some of the songs go too bluesy sometimes, but that's another thing. But even back in the day, he always had quite a restrained way of playing. He was not one of these like guitar wankers, one of these shredder types. And if you're a shredder, I'm not apologizing. If you're a shredder, you shouldn't be. But no, Martin's always been a very good guitar and player, and he's as a guitar player quite understated, meaning he doesn't try and overcomplicate things. He plays what's effective, but he's very expressive as a guitar player, I feel. The Technomatic. Oh, now there's a name we know. Hello, sir. DM did a whole bunch of unplugged material back in 2006, 2007. Did they? Igor. Only 3 songs. Ghosts Again, Walk in My Shoes, and some. Okay, I don't know what you're saying. You're responding to something else. Never mind. Michelle says, I need to see Forster Mode. You do, actually. I think, once again, if you're going down the tribute route and you want to kind of not see an interpretation of something, but something that is like meant to like look exactly and sound exactly like it, then you want to see Forster Mode. Especially when you're standing there and you're like, that is Dave Gahan. See, because he does look like sort of devotional era Dave Gahan, sort of like early 90s Dave. And they've got the sound and everything down to a T, and they're great guys as well. Mike C says electronic bands on piano need great skill and strong vocal. Did anyone see Bronski Beat Runaway instrumental released a few years ago? No, I didn't. Carl says Peace is an underrated tune. Thank you, Carl. There we go, brother. You've always had my back since day one. Got you. You and me, man. Solid. Peace. The Technomatic says... Oh, you're responding to Michelle. Okay. Igor says, Personal Jesus was done unplugged in 2006 with Peter Gordino on bass and not keyboards. I remember seeing Martin Gore live in London when he did the Counterfeit album. I think it was in 2004. He played in the Astoria, and it was very, very good. And it was funny because Martin's a great artist. I call him first and foremost as an artist. He's not really an entertainer, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Dave Gahan is an entertainer. Like, he's like a real entertainer. Martin's a great sort of artist, and he's a very good singer as well. And I also just felt when I was watching the Counterfeit shows, this was back in 2004, this was around about the time I think Dave Gahan released Paper Monsters, I think. And I felt that as much as I enjoyed the Martin Gore show, there were moments where I felt I wanted to see Dave come on now, just to sort of, because with Martin, there's once again, I don't mean any disrespect, because he's probably my favorite member of the band. Not, I mean, that sounds cheesy and childish, but what I mean by that is he'd probably be the one I'd have a beer with, even though I met him, and you guys can watch that video on my on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I think that's the way I could say with Martin. He's a great artist, but he's not really an entertainer, and it's not in a bad way. So I'm just saying, like a 2-hour show. But I mean, yeah, I still got so much respect, and in fact, a friend of mine told me that I forget who it was who told me this. But anyway, this friend of mine, someone who it was a friend of mine who, was it Simon? I think it was Simon, Technomatic. Simon, I think it was you. Yeah, I think you're there. I think you said this. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Was it you who said you went to see Counterfeit and then you went to see Dave at his solo show, and you said you actually preferred Martin's show better than Dave's solo show? I think it was you, Simon, who said that. But that was an interesting thing to hear, because once again, as I said, Dave's far more flamboyant. No, Martin's very flamboyant, but Dave's like a real sort of like entertainer. He's like out there. Martin's more, singer. It's more of a gentle. It's a different style, but I did enjoy the Martin solo show. Yeah. Right, take a few more before I go. Now they're all coming up now. Colorful Record says, if you end the Depeche Mode album videos, you should start a solo project video analyzing. Oh, I don't know. I don't exactly know what you mean. You should start solo project video analyzing. Oh, you mean I should analyze their solo projects? I suppose. Technomatic says, DM did acoustic bare versions of Clean Surrender, Waiting for the Night. Oh yes, Nothing's Impossible. Of course. Yes. Checkpoint Charlie says Paper Monsters was pretty good. Ah, yes. The Aries Technomatic. It was you indeed, brother. Correcting me, affirming that it was you that said that. What are you saying? Ah, yes. Martin's solo show was way better than Dave's pseudo Elvis show. Dave gone turning into Elvis Presley. That's what a lot are saying. Michelle says, seeing the tribute band Strangelove on 14th of February. Well, that's on Valentine's Day. Strangelove are very, very good as well as in the tribute scene. They've been at it for years, and they've also got it down to a fine art. Okay, Glenn Flowers, here comes a good question. Do you remember that super awkward launch appearance for Memento Mori where they clearly didn't want to be there? A journalist asked if they would ever do an unplugged session, and Dave was suitably rude. Was this the Memento Mori press release thing? One of my I don't know who the lady was that interviewed them, and I don't mean any disrespect to her, but that was awful. That was an awful interview, and I remember one of my a few of my subscribers at the time, when the album came out, then Martin and Dave went around doing all these interviews and stuff, and so many of you who follow me have always said you'd love to see me interview Depeche Mode, and a lot of you feel I deserve it, and maybe I do. I don't. It's not something I would push. I would love to interview them. I wouldn't push it. I may be able to. I certainly know enough people in the industry to call on the favor. Whether they'd want to speak to me or not, I don't know. But I'll be honest with you. I would I would give an interview, and I'm not being vain now, but I'm just not going to be humble either because I've been doing this long enough to know what I'm talking about when it comes to this band. I would give a very good interview with them because I would think I would give just enough question to kind of make them have to think a little bit rather than just blow smoke up their asses. But I wouldn't say things like, when's Alan coming back? Which someone did. There was an interview where some girl said, and then Dave looked understandably annoyed and understandably, and he said, look, man, Alan's been out of the band for 30 years. Can we be? I mean, that was a stupid fucking question. And when I saw that, I saw, darling, what a stupid question. What a stupid question. And there were quite a few interviews that I saw that were very, very good, but there were some that were just dumb. And there was some, it was clear that some of the people that were interviewing them were not fans. They were kind of like, it's like they got the brief and they said, okay, you need to interview this band tomorrow. It's a band called Depeche Mode. And you could hear the kind of generic, stupid questions. And I think it's within that where I feel maybe I do deserve to interview them because I would ask sincere questions because I love this band. But at the same time, I don't give them a pass because I love them. I'm also critical. Just as forgive this analogy, it's to those people who sometimes think, how can you be so critical if you're a fan? It's a little bit like if you're a parent, and I don't mean this to sound condescending, but if you're a parent and you love your child or you love your brother, your sister, you want the best for them. So you're going to sometimes tell them the things they don't want to hear because you like them, not because you're an arsehole. Now, coming back to that press conference for Memento Mori, it was awful because the lady that interviewed them, when they came on, I think the first question was, hi, what was it like to be back in the studio? Are you fucking kidding me? You know, these are two guys that have just buried one of their bandmates. You could have, and she didn't necessarily have to come in with something really dark and dreary, but that was just such a lame fucking question. I just went, oh my God. And it was very awkward if I looked at Dave and Martin. It's interesting you say that because it did seem to me like they didn't want to be there. It was a bit awkward. And you know, if you're a good interviewer, you can turn it. I'm not saying I'm a good interviewer. What I am, though, is I'm a very sincere interviewer. I will never interview someone I don't want to talk to. So if, like a lot of you who follow me, who said you would love to see me interview the band, I think I'd give a very sincere interview. And I mean, for those of you, I still think one of the best interviews I've done on this channel, which many people said, was if you saw my interview with Gary Newman when the Intrude album came out. Because I think I spoke to him as an equal in the sense that I didn't get all fanboy. I bust his balls a little bit and I dished a little bit of fluff. You know, it was like a great flowing conversation. I think this is the great thing about interviews is you've got to be sincerely interested in the person that you're interviewing. And I think a lot of those interviews I saw Dave and Martin doing throughout the Memento Mori, there were some very good ones, but there were some terrible ones, and I just felt, and then watching some of these terrible interviews, and with a lot of you saying, Vaughn, you should really interview them, I felt a little bit hard done by. No, I didn't. I'm not going to push it. And then, of course, there are some of you that said, oh, Vaughn, they won't want to speak to you because you've slagged them off. And I've gone, have I? Have I? Have I? This channel has, what, 400 uploads? And a large percentage of those are Depeche Mode videos. Have I really slagged them off? Have I really done them a disservice? No, I don't think so. I think I've done my bit for the flag flying in the PR. But yeah, I hope I answered your question there, Michelle. Was it you who asked that question, Michelle? I don't know. Ask the question now. Right, I want to. Okay, let me just see. Technomatic says, Alan is quite happy living the life he couldn't have when in an international band, the life of a parent. Yeah, Alan is living in Norway now. And I think the vibe of Norway is very much like the vibe where I live. Calm, serenity, peace, snow, Russia on the border. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. I still feel safer here than I did living in the UK, I'll be honest with you. Right. Where did we get that interview? Yeah. So we're still talking about the Memento Mori interviews. So yeah, I'll put it to you this way. When the next Depeche Mode album comes out, and there will be one, I will put myself forward somehow to interview, to talk to them. I won't beg, I won't plead, I won't, because I'll be honest, if I interviewed them, and maybe it's just because I'm old and cynical now, I'd be doing it more for the channel and for you. It's not really like a burning desire for me these days, but I would like to do it. It'd be good for the viewership, wouldn't it? DMK75 says, "Hi VG, looking long time no speak. Still flying the DM flag, I see. Keep up the good work." Thank you. Thank you. I am just flying the DM flag. Daniel says, "I'd like to hear more about Martin's musical approach. How so? What? How that's... Oh, how... Okay. The production and technical approach." Technomatic says, "I think the problem is Kessler chooses the people who asks the questions." You're absolutely right there. Now, I think I also think Mr. Kessler, who's their manager / banker, I think you'll be quite. And I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm just going to say this because I believe this to be true. It might be wrong, but I believe in my heart this is true. I think that the actual members of Depeche Mode, there's only 2 of them now, Dave and Martin, I believe them to be just really nice guys, really, but not really driving any of this, to be fair. I think, obviously we can't take anything away from them, the albums. Then, of course, there is the fact that there are a lot of people I heard there are a lot of people in the studios now these days. And once again, they've done their time. They've got nothing to prove. But, I do think that the management, the machine, which is somewhat very corporate as well feeling, I have to say. I think they drive everything. They will decide who they talk to and everything. And you know something? Depeche Mode is an institution, and Depeche Mode is bigger than Dave and Martin, because this is the thing. You as a human being, it's a little bit like the Batman movies. He goes, "As a man, I can be hurt, but as a symbol, I can become eternal." And that's, as cheesy as that sounds, it's very true. They are just two. It's like when I met Martin Gore that time, and I was all fanboyed out this many years ago. You can see the video on my channel. I remember thinking to myself, "Oh my God, he's just a guy." He's just a guy. Because you kind of forget that. You forget that they're just human, but their legacy is far bigger than they are. So I think when you look at the whole branding of the Depeche Mode, the machine and everything, the Mr. Kessler and everyone that runs it, I think they do manage it very, very well, and probably with an iron fist. So yes, I probably will never get to interview them, but don't worry. I will always be there as the peanut gallery, throwing my peanuts and throwing my 2 cents worth of opinion. Technomatic says, "Nordic serenity and alcohol." Oh, absolutely. I do. I don't drink a lot, but I drink a little bit more now with this cold weather and these long cold nights. Oh, it's wonderful. I'm not going to get into this too much, but I was actually thinking. So, Vaughn, maybe you should edit before you think. No, I'm serious about this. I was thinking of setting up a meet and greet here in Tallinn for people who've not been here before. It would be something, I'm not going to go into too much detail. It's just an idea, and maybe you can give me your thoughts on this. I was thinking of doing, because we've got friends and followers throughout the world, and a lot of you here. Imagine this. a long weekend in Tallinn, Estonia. You come here, I'd probably do some research where I could book a few hotels and get packages. We all come down here. We have like a huge hangout. We go to the famous Depeche Mode bar here, and maybe we can, I don't know, maybe get book Force to Mo to come and do a tribute act here, and then maybe the day after the brunch, I can do some piano. Who knows? Who's up for? Why not? The world's going to hell. There are so many wankers in the world. Let's create our own space. Anyway, what do you think of that? That's something I thought was an idea. Maybe after all the mesh shows, be a little project I wanted to do. Just like be quite. Wouldn't be too. It depends where you live. I mean, if you're in America, it's probably going to be quite expensive. But imagine coming out to Tallinn, Estonia, coming to this gothic old town. Come and meet me, and well, that's not the highlight to meet me. That's not what I'm saying. But we all get together and we hang out and we, Anyway, it's just an idea. No one's done it. Martin is just a genius, and there's no way to understand what he's doing. Yeah, and on that comment, I think Martin said in an interview once, he said songwriting or whatever, he said it's a very strange, I'm paraphrasing now, he said it's a very strange process. He said he feels like he's a channel, like it's just all coming through him. And I get that, because it's, yeah, a lot of his best work, it's just like really inspired. And it must have been interesting for someone like Alan Wilder, who was very knowledgeable on music. What I mean by that is Martin Gore's not classically trained. He's not technically trained, so he's a natural. He wasn't taught. So to sort of download all these ideas and just for them to manifest as they did, and then for Alan as the sort of like great sort of editor of Martin's work to kind of look at it and go, okay, hang on, let's move this. He must have looked at it and thought, wow, this is really clever, just the way it was. I've often spoken as Martin as being the architect and Alan being the civil engineer, because when you're building buildings, architects are more the dreamer. They draw things, and then civil engineer has to take that picture and make it work. And without going into too much detail, a lot of the comments in a lot of my recent reaction videos on those 4 Depeche Mode tracks, a few people have said stuff like, oh, whenever they hear these songs now, they often imagine, what would it sound like if Alan was still in the band? I'm just like, stop it. God, we are going off topic here now. Okay, I do want to sign off soon, but I just want to get through these last. Okay, stop asking questions now. I want to go. No, I'm really enjoying this, guys. Really. Technomatic says Depeche Mode is now more of a brand than a band. That's true. It has been for a number of years now, especially after signing with Sony. Very true, and if you think of the early days, the handshake seals a contract, and the handshake contract was, apparently the contract signed with Mute, with Daniel Miller, was sealed in a handshake. Now, I don't know how much of that is true of it, but probably back then it was probably just like a handshake, and that was very important, Daniel Miller. I've been toying with the idea for a long time, and I should, where we often talk about the success of things are often where there's a combination between talent and synchronicity, where all the pieces just come together and it's almost like written in the stars kind of thing. It is written in the stars above. It was not only that, the 4 coming together, but it was also, the importance of Daniel Miller, who took them. I'll take you under my wing. Stop it, Vaughn. Yeah, he took them under his wing, and he. I'm so childish. And he was important. And then, of course, Gareth Jones at the time, who didn't want to work with them, but John Fox talked him into it, and he was sort of pushing the frontiers of sampling at that time, and then at the same time, my late friend Brian Griffin, who did the artwork, who was really iconic at that time. He was experimenting with filming, photographing workers, and how how, just how all those elements came together, along with Vince leaving, and then Martin's song. We've got a whole video there, which I think would be great. The video would focus on those, almost the synchronicity of how it came together, but then also how important every person was that wasn't in the band that actually brought this together. Because I mean, if you look at like just the artwork, obviously, I mean, I ran the business with Brian Griffin. We had the art business, where we sold his artwork, and so I've studied this stuff so in depthly, and I'm no expert on art pieces and stuff, but the power in the artwork of Depeche Mode's early artwork, where you can look at a swan covered in cellophane and you can go, what's that? But even to you, the fan, or we see a man on a mountain swinging a hammer, we know exactly what that is. But if you just put those up and people walk in and they don't know that it's associated with Depeche Mode, they just see it as genius pieces of art. Like the broken frame, in the wheat field, we associate that with a broken frame. But anyone who doesn't know that album, if they see that artwork, they're like, wow, that's amazing. So you know what I'm saying? So there was that music, but there was that art that was like just stand out on its own. It is all of these things and more. God, I'm going to have to go now soon. You guys must think I'm drunk. I'm not. I just haven't eaten today. So, right, okay, so we get a few more questions here. But I agree with what Technomatic says. Depeche Mode is now more of a brand than a band. I think it's a very accurate thing to say. E42. That is a weird thing. When you meet a celebrity, they are just people. And most of the time, there isn't really anything to say. Just hello. People are people. God, I'm so cheesy. You're right. There is this realization when you meet these people, and you go, that's why there's that saying, never meet your heroes. Sometimes they can be very disappointing. But of course, I met Martin Gore all those years ago. He wasn't disappointing. Check out that video that I made. It's on my channel here. He says, wow, he performed the chicken sound effect. I thought those were in the library. Well, I don't have access to the sample now, but I can do animal sounds, but no, that sample is actually from a library. That's not, I just didn't have the, he's a man of many talents. Oh, bless you. Come to my acoustic chicken performance, Michelle. You will love it. Checkpoint 01 says, I love the 82, 83 artwork. Yeah. Elias says, you should tell the entire Depeche Mode. Oh, Elias says, sorry. You should tell the entire history of Depeche Mode, but only by singing snippets of their songs. As a business idea, selling tickets. I'll sell tickets for that. Will you come, Elias? Technomatic says, chicken noises are just one of Vaughn's many talents. Simon, it's time we got you back on the channel again, mate. A lot of people have been asking for you. Especially now that I'm going to be doing the In Your Room song analysis. Simon did a great... you've seen Simon before on the channel. He did a great breakdown. He played me In Your Room once. He sent me this track and it played. It was In Your Room, and I went, okay, this is the backing track to In Your Room. And he went, no, I did this. He actually reverse engineered that. Doom, do, 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 doom. You know the intro. Oh, I get goosebumps. Oh, I'm just getting all fanboy here. The introduction of In Your Room. Doom, do, 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 doom, do, 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 doom. Simon actually reverse engineered that using his knowledge and synthesis and stuff. So, Simon, let's have a call and we'll set something up. It's been far too long. Daniel says that Brian Griffin's DM music video had a real David Lynch vibe. Yes, that's true. The Only When I Lose Myself. Yeah, I did a special of that. It's on my... No, it's not. It's on the Watch VG site. Oh, fuck that. I'm going to put it up on YouTube. I'm sick of these paywalls. I have to do these paywalls, guys, because this is how I support what I do. So, believe me, in a world of... If the world wasn't the way it was, I'd just give everything away for nothing. But yeah, I did a video special on Only When I Lose Myself with Brian, and we went to the horse hospital with Roger Burton, and Roger Burton was the guy who did the costumes for. I'm going to upload that video online. I did it many years ago. Michelle says, you guys are all great. We love the community. That's great. Yeah. Okay, so for those of you who are still here, I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but I want to tell you about something, because community has always been very, very important to me. It's always been at the sort of forefront of what I've done. And when I started this channel many years ago, I didn't, none of this was planned. This was all just grassroots and all just got us to where we got. And then it got me into the band mesh and all that kind of stuff. So none of this was planned. But one of the best things is, what I'm proud of is, I think we've managed to harness the positive side of social media, because social media has got such a bad reputation. And what I have started now, I'm not going to roll. I haven't rolled it out yet, because I wanted to roll it out a bit later, and I'm going to. But it is a community I've started now. It's free, so I'm not trying to sell you anything. But I've noticed that Facebook, as much as I like the functionality, and I've got my Facebook page, I've got my Facebook group, as much as I like the functionality and everything of Facebook, and we do have good people that come to this channel and everything, we're very lucky. We're lucky, but I rule this, we rule, my Edmonds and I, we rule this like with an iron fist, not in a bad way. We just don't take shit. You know, I just won't allow any of that fucked upness from the outside world to infiltrate what we're doing here. We acknowledge that world exists, but we don't, I don't want to say that this is a safe space, because we're not children, but I think there have to be places where people can just go to and just fucking just fucking be, and have some optimism. The point I'm trying to make is, I've started a community which is not on Facebook, and to those of you who are interested, and once again, it's free. I'm not trying to sell you anything here, because I'm going to roll it out later. But there are about 20 people in there at the moment. I've done it on invitation only so far. But if you're interested, you can just send me an email at info@vorti.com, and I'll send you a link, and you can join up. It's a school community. Long story. I don't want to get into it too much, but it's something that we've been looking into and building for a long time, because I've always been trying to look for a community that we can move off social media, really, off YouTube, out of the public domain, and into like and it's a free community, by the way. So if you're interested, just send me an email to info@vorti.com. Just say, hi Vaughn, I was on your live stream. I'd love to join. Send the link, and you can come out there and hang out with some like-minded people. Okay. Okay, let me just make sure I've got all the comments now before I go. Yeah, Technomatic's right. Facebook has become a turd smoothie. Yeah, Facebook as well. I remember what I have in mind with my school community as well is kind of like the vibe of, you're going to laugh now because I'm giving my age away now. What was that? Before Facebook, we had MySpace. Oh, God. Remember that? Oh, just good. That kind of good vibe. Facebook to me now is just become too. I mean, everyone's on Facebook. It's the market leader, but it's all. Yeah, it's tribal. It's just there's just too much advertising, and it's just too much. So anyway, come and join me in school if you are interested. Sign me up. Simon, I actually sent you an email about 2 weeks ago. I'm surprised you haven't joined up yet, because some of the other insiders are Tony, and a lot of them are in there. But then again, you do have a few emails, so maybe I sent it to you a wrong one. So I'm not going to display your email address here now, so hit me. Michelle, you're interested? Yeah, send me an as I say, Michelle, I don't know who you are just based on your name there, but if you send me an email, the email's on the screen there, you can see it. info@vorty.com, and that's to anyone watching who's interested. Just say, hi Vaughn, just been on the live stream, send me the link, I'd love to join, and we can sort of continue that there, because I don't want to talk too much, but that's going to be very exciting. That's going to be like a, I don't want to say a safe space, but it's think of it like being in a bunker and the world's kicking off above you, says the man living on the border of Russia. I was, without being facetious, I was sitting here one day and I just heard this jets, jets. I'm a nerd. I love aviation, so I know the sound of a fighter jet, but you don't hear that often. But I mean, this was like obvious, and I stood up here and I just saw this thing flying. You can't see out the window, but flew in that direction, and then another one going in that direction, and that one, and they were the Eurofighters, and I thought, oh fuck, what's going on here? And then this was round about that time where the Russian MiGs came into our airspace. So it's funny, you hear it on the news, and then you go, oh shit, that's what I saw today, and then it just makes you go, this shit's getting real. But anyway, good. Glenn Flowers has just emailed. That's great. Actually, this is technology. I can actually check your emails coming in here. This is, yeah, Glenn, I can see your invite there. You request. Yeah. Send me an email, I'll send you a link, and that's it. So I think I've got all your questions there. Thank you, guys. I think this has worked quite well. And if you want to just on the email, just give me some honest feedback on the live stream. Was the sound good and everything? I think we've got it right now. I've got the settings, I've got the software, because I always start live streams with like a false start, and there always seems to be something going wrong. But I think this seems to be working quite well now. So that's it. So it's now 7:15 in Tallinn time. So in about an hour from now, if you check my YouTube channel, I will upload. Well, I have uploaded it already. It's going to go live. The fourth track from the fourth unheard track from the Memento Mori sessions, which is In the End. I've reacted to that, and that video is going to come up within an hour. So you're getting an overdose of me today. But thank you. Thank you as always. I never take your support and attention for granted. I love what I do, and I really want to pull the community in closer again, because I've been a bit distant lately with life and everything. So lots of love to you. Thank you for your time. And I will see you on the next video, live stream, live event, mesh show, or I might just bump into you in the street if you ever come to Tallinn. Lots of love.